Good morning, everybody. Today is 8th of September 2025. The time is 11 a.m. Today there is a special topic about financial hardships, and this I will try to cover in this 15 minutes of duration. We all know what is a financial hardship. Financial hardship is the non-availability of resources at any given point of time. Okay. Resources can be anything. Resources can be money, resources can be food, resources can be availability of vehicles. All these are resources at our disposal. But most of us think that resources only meant is money because money will buy everything. Okay. So let us try and understand the financial hardships from the point of money. There is something called as wealth yoga and there is something called as Daridra Yoga, or it is called as poverty yoga. Okay. So today discussion is about the yoga from the lagna and from the Karaka lagna also. Lagna, we know it is ascendant. When we are taking birth, we draw a Kundali, and that is where we can see the lagna, which is also called as ascendant. And there is another concept called as Karaka lagna. Karaka lagna is nothing but the sign in which an Atma Karaka is placed. And what is Atma Karaka? Atma Karaka is soul significator, and we can find this Atma Karaka in a chart by looking into a graha and its degrees. The highest degree in which a graha is placed, that is called as Atma Karaka, and its placement in a sign is called as Karaka Lagna, which means that we are going to take that Atma Karaka in a sign and we will consider that particular Rashi as a Lagna. Okay? That particular Rashi where the Atma Karaka is placed, we will consider that as a Lagna. Now, for a Kundali, there are two places where we are going to find hardships. One is the 8th house, one is the 12th house. These two houses can be seen from the Lagna and the Karaka Lagna also. If we are seeing it from Lagna, okay, if we are seeing in the Lagna, this particular Lord of the 8th house will give mental tensions and suffering, while the same Lord of the 12th house from the Lagna will give us physical constraints. Physical constraints, especially if they are malefic planets. What is the physical constraint? Physical constraint is that we may be bedridden, we may be confined to a hospital, we may be going to a jail. Okay, this is nothing but a confinement. This is nothing but a physical confinement and physical suffering. Now, the Lord of the 8th house and the Lord of the 12th house, these are the houses of suffering, these are the houses of misfortune, and these are the houses of trials and tribulations in a Kundali. Okay, but this does not mean that by just seeing the Lord of the 8th house and the Lord of the 12th house, or the Lord of the 8th house and the Lord of the 12th house aspecting the Lagna by Rashi Drishti or Graha Drishti, the Lord of the 8th house or the Lord of the 12th house going and conjoining the Lord, the Lagna itself, does not constitute of poverty. It does not constitute a Daridra Yoga. But if we want to see a Daridra Yoga, we have to see from the Karaka Lagna because the soul has to suffer because of the poverty. It is not the Lagna. It is the soul which has to suffer the poverty. So, when we want to see the poverty, we have to see the same 8th Lord and 12th Lord from the Karaka Lagna, okay, and see whether this particular Lord of the 8th house or 12th house is aspecting the Lagna or it is conjoining the lagna lord, or it is also with the lagna itself. So, if the lord of the 8th and 12th house aspect the Karaka lagna, then the misfortune yoga occurs. Hence, it is very important to know that the 8th lord and the 12th lord from the Karaka lagna has to be seen in order to understand how much of the poverty we are going to suffer. So, the lords of the 8th house and the 12th house from the Karaka Lagna plays a very important role. For example, if the lord of the 8th house from the Lagna aspects the Lagna, it does not constitute a poverty yoga. Because if you see, many people have lot of planets in the 8th house and they are multimillionaires, rich people. Okay? Rich people. But if the Lord of the eighth house from the Lagna were to aspect, suppose it is aspecting the Karaka Lagna, then there will be severe mental suffering. There will be severe mental suffering. And if the Lord of the eighth house from the Karaka Lagna is also with the Karaka Lagna, then such mental suffering is very much strong. Okay? If let us suppose if the planets involved are friendly, okay, if the planets involved are very friendly, then the poverty will be very less. But if the planets involving are malefic in nature, then the poverty is sure to happen. Okay, the poverty is sure to happen. Now there is a case which I would like to take into account. I will just try and give you a small example. The date is 31st October. It's a very old chart, 30th October 1910, that is 1910. The native born is 13 hours 37 seconds, 13 hours 37 minutes, 00 seconds, 5:30 east of GMT, that is India, and the latitude and longitude. I will just tell the longitudes. 77 east 35, 77 east 35, and 12 north 59. 12 north 59. Okay. I'm not taking this out because I've taken the longitude and latitude directly. Okay. Here, the Lagna rising is Makara Lagna. The Atmakaraka moon is going and sitting in the ninth house, which is very good. And if you see, there are no planets in the eighth house, but there are too many planets in the 10th house, and there is a Rahu and Saturn in the fourth house. If you see the Kundali, normally if you see the Kundali, then this person would have had a change of life from the year 2122. Why? Because the natural age of the moon is 2122. And if you also see, there are many planets going and sitting in the 10th house, which is excellent. Okay? Which is excellent. Now, if you also see a planet in Kendra, it is sorry, there is a planet Atma Karaka in the ninth house. There are no planets in the Kendra. Okay, this is called as this particular planetary placement is called as Kamadruma Yoga. What is Kamadruma Yoga? Kamadruma Yoga is not a poverty yoga. It is not a Daridra Yoga. Kamadruma Yoga is that yoga when a person will be ignored by the society. Why? Because the pillars is 1, 4, 7, 10 from the Atmakaraka, except for the Atmakaraka, which is the ninth house. the remaining Kendras are empty. The remaining Kendras are empty. So the person will be ignored by everybody. Okay. So this is just a Kamadruma yoga. It is not a poverty yoga. If we are seeing it from the lagna point of view, but if we are seeing from the Atmakaraka point of view, Atmakaraka here is moon. So the placement of the Atmakaraka in the Kanya Rashi, it is called as Karaka Lagna. That means I am taking the moon as the Lagna, and from there I am going to see the 8th house and the 12th house. Okay? 8th house and the 12th house. What is the planet? What are the planets in the 8th house? Which is Rahu and Saturn. The Lord of the 8th house is Mars. Mars is going and sitting in the 2nd house. What is 12th house? From the moon, the 12th house is Sun, and from the moon, the 12th house is Leo. The Lord of the Leo is Sun, and Sun is getting debilitated. Okay, in the 2nd house from the Karaka Lagna. And if you also see the Mars, which is the 8th house from the moon, it is also conjoining. It is also conjoining the debilitated sun. There is a Raja Yoga in this house that is called a Dharma Karma Adipatya Yoga. The 9th Lord and the 10th Lord, that is Mercury, the 9th Lord, and the Venus in the 10th house is conjoining in the 10th house. This is Dharma, which is 9th house, and the Karma in the 10th house. Both these planets, Mercury and Venus, are conjoining the 10th house, which is called a Dharma Karma Adipatya Yoga. Okay. There is also called as a Parijata Yoga. There is a Parijata Yoga. What is that Parijata Yoga? There is a Parijata Yoga which is formed by the mutual aspect between the Lord of the 2nd house and 4th house and 12th house. Okay? Who is the Lord of the 2nd house? There is the Parijata Yoga, the formed by the mutual aspect between the Lord of the 2nd house. Okay? 4th house and the 11th house. There is something called as Malavya Mahapurusha Yoga. Malavya Mahapurusha Yoga. You know there are 5 Mahapurusha Yogas. Okay? Sasa Mahapurusha Yoga, Malavya Mahapurusha Yoga, there is uh, there are 5 yogas. I'm sorry, I'm not able to get in get into my mind. But there is Sasa Yoga, there is a Malavya Mahapurusha Yoga. There are 2 yogas, and there are 5 yogas like that. And out of that, Venus is one of the yogas where it is going and sitting in its own sign. That means the Mahapurusha yogas will occur when the planets are going and sitting in their own signs. The planets are getting exalted. Here, Venus is sitting in its own sign. So this should make the native very wealthy. Okay, but here all the Raja Yogas which I have told you are failed. Why? Because because the Karaka Lagna, the planets from the Karaka Lagna, okay, the planets from the Karaka Lagna is to be taken into account. So let us take instead, if you take the lords of the Lagna and the Karaka Lagna, that is Saturn and Mercury, we can see that how these are clearly afflicted by the 8th lord and 12th lord from the Lagna, Sun and Jupiter, as well as the 8th and 12th lords from the Karaka Lagna, which is Mars and Sun. So, if you take the Karaka Lagna, that is moon, and take the 8th house Lord from the Karaka Lagna, which is Mars, and also take the 8th Lord from the Lagna, which is Sun, okay, and also take the 12th Lord from the Lagna, which is Jupiter. All these are going and sitting in the 10th house. Okay, they are conjoining the 8th Lord and they are also conjoining the 12th Lord. So, the net effect is that this particular person is very poor, is born and brought up in a very poor family, and there is a clear constitute Daridra Yoga in this person's chart. One more thing, you also see that this person is born in Krishna Chaturdashi. Okay, Krishna Chaturdashi, extremely malefic tithi. And where it is going and sitting? It is the Lord of the fifth house going and sitting in the 10th house. So career is gone. Career is gone. Okay. So this is how we have to check this particular Daridra Yoga or Karaka Lagna Yoga for the native. Let us take another chart. I will try to take the chart of mm, Rajiv Gandhi. Let me. Do I have this Rajiv Gandhi chart? Let me see. I think I don't have. Let me input the data. August 20th, August 20th, 1944. The time is 7:11:28. Okay, 5:30 east of GMT, 72 east 49, and 18 north 58. Okay, so this is the chart. Now let us see what is happening in the chart. The Lagna Lord, which is Surya, is going and sitting in its own sign, which is very powerful. The Lord of the eighth house is going and sitting in the Lagna. So people say that when the Lord of the eighth house goes and sits in the Lagna, this is a poverty yoga. No, this is not a poverty yoga. Who is the Atma Karaka? Let us see the Atma, which is Mercury. So Mercury, the Lord is also, Mercury is also going and sitting in the Lagna. So this does not constitute the poverty yoga. Okay. This does not constitute a poverty yoga. Now, Jupiter is very strong in the chart because it is a Digbala. Sun is very strong in this chart because it is going and sitting in his own sign. There is a what you call Sun and Mercury combination. Okay. Very intelligent person, strong in politics. Okay. We know that very well. Okay. And the eighth Lord is empty, but the Lord is very well placed in Lagna, which is a Digbala, and it is also going and sitting in his friendly sign. The 12th house is afflicted by Rahu. You see Rahu in the 12th house. And here, the Rahu is not weak, but it is subject to a Papa Kartari Yoga between Sun and Sun, which is between Saturn and Sun. Papa Kartari Yoga. Okay, so what is that says? There is a prima facie evidence stating that there is no poverty yoga. Okay, there is no poverty yoga. From the Mercury, if you see the eighth house, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The eighth lord is very strongly placed here, which is Digbala, directional strength. The 12th lord is also going and sitting in the Lagna. Okay, it is also sitting in the Lagna. So there is no poverty yoga here. In fact, there is a powerful Raja Yoga. There is a powerful Raja Yoga. Okay, so here we can very clearly say that we can very clearly say that because of the Atma Karaka being placed in the sign of Leo, okay, there are two things which we have to consider. When a Putra Karaka and the Atma Karaka are going and sitting in the Lagna, this is a very big Raja Yoga. This is a very big Raja Yoga. Whenever you find that the Atma Karaka and the Putra Karaka are going and sitting in the fifth house, these people will definitely become very big and famous in their lives. And you know what happened to what was the situation of Rajiv Gandhi in his life? His mother was assassinated and he became the Prime Minister of India. Okay. Later on, he was also assassinated. Okay. You see from the Aruda Lagna, Rahu is going and sitting in the third house. We will any malefic planet going and sitting in the third house from the Aruda Lagna, it will tell us the circumstances of the death. And in which sign the Rahu is placed? It is placed in the sign of water. So, and from the Lagna, it's going and sitting in the 12th house. What is 12th house? 12th house is the foreign country. He went to some other place. I think it is Sri Lanka, if I'm not wrong, and he was assassinated by a lady. Okay, he was assassinated by a lady. So you can see how this chart is working with respect to the Daridra Yoga. There is no Daridra Yoga, but there is a Raja Yoga, big time Raja Yoga, and there is also an assassination yoga with respect to this chart. So please understand that merely by looking at the eighth house, do not come to a conclusion that this person has poverty. Maybe he's suffering, but he may be earning wealth because eighth house is house of unearned wealth. Okay, maybe he must be getting some property from somewhere else. Maybe he's working in some areas where he must be taking some commission basis. Okay, so do not come to the conclusion that if there is a planet if there are many planets in the eighth house or many planets in the 12th house, do not constitute a Daridra Yoga. I will show another chart. Now there is a planet in the eighth house. There is a planet in the 12th house. Eighth Lord is going and sitting in the 12th house. This is the yoga for expense. Who is the Atma Karaka? Mercury. It is conjoining the lagna from this particular point. Let us see the eighth house. It is Saturn, but it is going and sitting in the but it is going and sitting in the 10th house. The 12th house from the Aruda Lagna, from the Mercury is Venus, and Venus is going and sitting in the Lagna. This is not a poverty yoga. In fact, this is my chart, and I'm happy with whatever money I'm getting. I'm happy. So this does not constitute a yoga. But here, because there is a planet in the 12th house from the Lagna, but this is not a Lagna Lord. This is the 8th Lord. 8th Lord going and sitting in the 12th house will tell that if you do not give something to somebody, this particular planet will ensure that you spend the money. And I'm spending the money. I give something to somebody, whether it is clothes, whether it is food, whether it is moon, I will give. Okay, I will give. Why? Because 12th house is house of expenses. There is no planet in the second house. Okay, there is a Virodha Argala here. What is Virodha Argala? This particular 12th house planet is blocking my second house. Okay, that means it is not allowing me to have sufficient money in my bank. So I need to balance these two. That is the reason I am wearing an emerald, second house. Okay, there is more planet in the second. There is a planet in the 12th house, but there is no planet in the second house. So there is not much of money in my bank balance. Yes, but the Atma Karaka is going and sitting in the 11th house, and again it is sitting in Punarvasu Nakshatra. So that means somewhere my 11th house and my 12th house and my 5th house and my 8th house is getting connected. Okay, so that is the reason I am learning Jyotish. It is my past life. 8th house Lord, Mercury going and sitting in the nakshatra of 8th house. I met with lot of accidents, but survived. Okay, Now, okay, these are extra things what I'm trying to tell you, but for information. So this is how we need to see the poverty yoga, Kamadruma yoga, the eighth lord from Lagna, the 12th lord from Lagna, eighth lord from Karaka Lagna, and the 12th lord from the Karaka Lagna. Okay, thank you very much. Uh, Before going, I would request you to kindly share this particular video with your friends and family and watch as much as possible to understand the concept. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Jai Hind and Jai Bharat.